Hello and welcome to Ticket to Life. This is Henrie. And if I sound a little bit nasally, yes, I am trying to conquer a cold I've had for the past few days. I don't know. I don't even know where I got it. First, my brother-in-law and my husband got it, then I got it. So we're just passing those little germs everywhere. But anyway, enough about me. How are you doing? I am so happy that you are here with me on Ticket to Life. And again, this is Henrie. And if you've never heard this podcast, it is about life, anything and everything about life. If you have a story that you would like to share, I am more than willing to share it on the radio. Names will be changed, or on my podcast. I am on the radio on WDJY 99.1 FM in Metro Atlanta at 7 a.m. Eastern Time every Thursday morning. And back to your story. We all have a story. We all have situations we've been in. Life is full of them each and every day. The most important thing I always like to tell people is that you are not alone in anything you are going through. There is someone right now at this very moment going through the same thing you are going through. It could be something wonderful, or it could be something not so wonderful. And sometimes it's really hard to accept the not so wonderful. This podcast today is about letting go. And why is it so hard? Why is it so hard? Letting go is so stinking hard when I'm just going right into this, aren't I? Usually I talk about everything else. I do want to talk about the solar eclipse, April 8th, but I'll get that. We'll get to the good stuff first, and then we'll talk about the other good stuff about the solar eclipse. But anyway, how many of you have gone through something that you just cannot let go? And why? Why can't you let it go? What is so hard about just letting something that someone has said or done go? So again, why is it so hard? About someone who has done wrong and let them go and just be gone with it. It's the unexpected of what lies in the future when we are hurt by someone or offended by someone. It's always easy for us to tell someone, and I am very guilty of this, of saying, you know what, just let it go. Just let it go. But I guess I'm not the one at that time going through whatever that person is going through. So I'd like to share a story with you today. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. And here's the story about someone who they lost a loved one, and not by death, but by surprise. They lost a lot. So, yes, I'm going to talk about cheating on someone today. Now, that's not everything about, letting things go, but it is a big thing because it seems like there are so many people out there thinking that it's okay to cheat on their beloved. So let's, we're going to call the woman Fiona, and he will be Frank. So it's going to be Frank and Fiona. So Fiona had this love for him so much. It was so uncontrollable that the first thing in the morning, he was the first thought on her mind and couldn't wait to be with him again, to have the best, I guess I can say sex. Yeah, to have the best lovemaking / romance that she had ever had. I mean, she was beyond smitten at this point. Now, he always knew what to say and how to make her feel good. Made her feel giddy like a little schoolgirl. Remember that guy or that girl that would be able to do that to you when you were in high school and your hormones were raging and you sometimes didn't know what was happening to you? Your body was like, whoa. And it was just by words, verbs, but just by words. Well, anyway, Not even by touch. It's amazing how words can do so much to a person. It can make them feel with a natural high, and then it can make them feel with a natural low. Not even touching them, just words. Well, anyways, they had been together for 3 years, and just about every waking thought was of him. Now, the desires they had for one another was very unexplainable. Now, Frank felt the same way Fiona did, but unfortunately, the way Frank felt was for Fiona. And Fiona was feeling this way about her guy that was married. Adam the Beehole. That's not his real name, but we're on radio with this podcast also. I have to be careful what I say. Although there are some podcasts late at night you can hear, and they use all sorts of vulgar words. But anyway, I don't need to use those. I didn't realize you could cuss on the radio late at night. Okay, move on from there, Henry. So again, Adam the Beehole, or A-hole, whichever, had promised her the moon as soon as he was divorced. Earth to Fiona, come in. It's been 3 years. She had been with this married guy for 3 years. Well, eventually, guess what? Frank found out. How did he find out? Did someone tell him? No, people, it was technology. Good old technology, the old cell phone, the old text. He had noticed that she was always going to meet her made-up friend. Now, she was smart. Fiona was smart. And she even gave Adam the Beehole a woman's name, just in case Frank ever saw a call or a glance of a text coming in. That's pretty smart. I hope I'm not giving anyone ideas, because don't do it. Until one day, Frank noticed that the text was on her phone, and he noticed because she had gone to the other room and left her cell phone on her chair on the table or something. And he wasn't being nosy, but the phone was still unlocked. You know how your phone will lock if you have a password if after a certain amount of minutes or seconds. Well, her phone was still unlocked and a text came in. Well, curiosity, Frank picks up the phone and looks at it, and it's from her friend, her make-believe friend. Back to the cell phone. So, of course, Frank looks at the cell phone because, you've seen it. Like if someone leaves their phone and it goes off on the table and you kind of glance at it. Well, so Frank did more than glanced at it. He picked it up and he noticed the woman's name. So he knows, that's her friend she's always meeting. Correct? Correct. But it was something about that text that said, I guess, I don't know how he couldn't see the red flags, but he did. And he wasn't being nosy. The phone's there. He picks it up. And he reads the text. And the text says, "Did you like what I did to you yesterday?" ? Best lunch I've had in a while. With heart emojis. Actually, at first, Frank, he's smart. And first he thought, wait, is my girl a lesbian? Is she experimenting? What's going on? But no, Frank, she was with Adam, the Beehole. The best part of this was when you have evidence. And again, he was smart and noticed the red flags and started thinking more about the standoffish she was after she'd be meeting this friend or so-called make-believe girlfriend. Again, make-believe on her phone. Frank took action, which was smart because some people wouldn't have thought to do this. So Frank took action. He took a pic of some of the text because he was able to read the text now at this point. So, of course, poor Frank didn't know how to confront this. Perhaps it was innocent. Again, hello, Frank. Think. But you always want to think better of someone and think, nah, maybe this is just something different. But he didn't want to blow up until he had more evidence. So he did take pictures of the text with his phone. He was fast, that panic where I'm sure his heart was racing when he was doing this. So one day, he held off for, I think he said, about a week before he even said anything. I don't know how. I would have been bursting, but until then. And then Fiona one day later on says, hey, I'm going to be late. I'm going to go and meet my friend for a happy hour. Not your typical happy hour, I guess. So again, technology to the rescue. Frank agrees, okay, because she's lied about the name again. She's with her make-believe friend. So again, yay for technology. Again, Frank used the Find My Phone app, or that, what is it, Live 360. And Fiona was not at happy hour. She was in a car when he drove up with Adam the Beehole. Now, this story could and has happened to many males and females. Parts of the story are fiction. I will let you figure out what is and what is not. I bet you're wondering now what happened. What happened between Frank, Fiona, and Adam the Beehole? Well, Frank forgave her, believe it or not, and they went on to get married. But Frank could not forget about it, what happened, and he just couldn't let it go. It's always in the back of his mind. Even as hard as he tried, he couldn't let it go. Always wondering, will she do it again? And as Fiona, she couldn't go without thinking about Adam the Beehole. But guess what? Adam is still with his wife. And I will have to admit, eventually Frank did let it go. And he divorced Fiona. So there stands Fiona. She's still waiting for Adam the Beehole to call her to let her know he has left his wife. Or this may not even pertain to you. Have you been mistreated or belittled by someone and then forgave them, and in the back of your mind, you just can't let it go? You can't forget it. How about when we get upset with someone? Although it's said, someone says something without thinking. Before they spoke, think before you speak. If you can't say something nice, then don't say anything at all. Are you able to let that go when they really didn't mean it? Can you let that go? Again, like I have said, letting go of things is always easier said than done. You have the person who gets upset because you diss someone or one of their family or friends, and it just spews out of your mouth, and then it's too late to take it back. You actually spoke what was on your mind. Well, some people just lose it and go after the person who said it without thinking and wind up in prison for hurting or killing the person who did the dissing. I don't know if that's a word, dissing, but you know what I'm saying. Who was disrespectful. Words are hurtful, and many people don't give a rat's butt if they hurt someone's feelings, and they continue to do it. And yet, some of these people we allow to continue to hurt our feelings. Again, letting go is hard, but it can be done. Letting go of hurt and pain is very hard, mentally and sometimes physically. I suggest, well, before I go suggesting anything, I just need to remind everyone that I'm not a therapist. I'm not a life coach, a psychiatrist, or a doctor of any sort. These are only my opinions. Now, my suggestion is, as hard as it is to create a positive thing from something sad or bad that happened, it can be a wake-up call, such as, I will never let anyone speak to me or my family member in a degrading manner, and learning that this is the hardest part. You've got to learn to walk away from that situation. When someone is doing that, you can stand there and take it, then say nothing and walk away, because you have just learned what that person's really like. And some people get off on being nasty. I don't know why, but they do. So the hard thing, again, is learn to walk away from any of these situations. Easier said than done. Again, take a deep breath and just do it. I understand some people need to vent about certain things, about work, about home life, friends, their family life, their relationships, their kids, their spouse, their boyfriend, girlfriend, the neighbor. But we don't have time for this, especially if it's going to bring us down. If we hold on to all this negative, bad, nasty stuff people say to us or do to us, or we watch the news so much and we listen to it and just live on every single depressing thing that's out there, then we are all doomed. Turn off the TV and move on. Find something to do. Find something for yourself, because the most important person when something like this is going down is you. You are so important. Practice to pray. Practice mindfulness. And most importantly, keep thinking of you, because you deserve to be happy and not let people be mean to you. You are important in so many and to so many people. And you don't even realize how many people appreciate you. But you will probably never know, because people don't have a tendency to make it a habit of saying, I appreciate you. Thank you. That's simple. That's simple. So letting go is not knowing what else could be in store for you too. If you don't let go, there's something better for you. Again, I've said in the past few podcasts, there's always that good therapist, God. He listens, doesn't ask questions, and when you least expect it, something amazing may happen. Patience is the other thing. Your therapy session may not give you answers until much later. I have this frame in my house, and it says, let us be silent so we may hear the whisper of God. That holds so true. And yes, I'm bringing up God, and I just talked about infidelity and people being mean, but it is what it is. God knows it's out there. He's not blind to it, and neither should you be. You're worth more than anything in this world to be happy. Sometimes we have to find our own happy, even if it means walking away from someone. And it's hard, again, because you don't know what's going to happen to you if you let go of that job, that person, that family member, that friend that you've had for a long time. But you do deserve to be happy. And always remember that. I'm all about the happy, people. I love happy. Happy makes me happy, and as long as Henry's happy, everybody's happy. So anyway, that's my take on letting go. It's like that song from Disney, let it go, let it go. I hope there's not a talent scout out looking for some singer. I'm not sure they would hire me, but anyway. Now, really quick, I'd like to talk about the solar eclipse. I need to hurry. So this solar eclipse is going to planning to happen. Well, it's not planning. It's just going to happen. April 8th, 2024 at 1:40 Central Time. Now, this solar eclipse is when the moon passes between the sun and the earth, casting the shadow over the earth. Okay, so some of you don't know this, but I know a lot of people do. But it's going to be so amazing because according to NASA, after this one in 2024, the next one will be in August 23rd of 2044. I plan to still be here in 2044, but who knows? Now, the states that will be able to see this eclipse for this year, for 2024, will be Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and small parts of Tennessee and Michigan. And it says very small parts of some of the of Tennessee and Michigan there. Anyway. Now, as exciting as this is, some of the counties here in Texas are calling for a state of emergency for that week, or actually the week before. Why? Because this is a chance in a lifetime for many to see in this rarity for a few minutes when the moon is blocking the sun. I want everyone to know this is very important, what I'm about to say. If you are there to see the eclipse, or you really could give a flip about it, be sure to get those protective eye gear, such as solar eclipse glasses. They're selling them everywhere. I ordered mine on Amazon. Not regular sunglasses will work, people. And this also, I read, as soon as the tiniest bit of bright sun reappears after the total eclipse, have those glasses on, because that's the most severe consequence of the vision impairment that it could cause. So don't try to be cute and look up, oh, look, I can stare at it and I can still see. Be smart. Be wise. So now back to the state of emergency. They are expecting at least an extra 1 million people in the city of Dallas alone. Now, I don't know if that's the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but I heard the city of Dallas. And they are expecting chaos. Now, we live east of Dallas, and all the hotels and motels and several counties are booked solid, expecting gas shortage, food shortage, major traffic, and major chaos. This is crazy. The county expects the population of 400,000 to double in the days leading up to and after the eclipse due to the location of the path totality. When the moon is completely covers the sun, that's amazing. Now, that's a God thing. And I'll get with God in a minute and let you know what I think. Well, anyway, there's a Bell County, and they're expecting traffic, congestion, fuel. Again, I'm repeating myself, fuel shortages and strains on first responders, hospitals, and food. I don't think anybody really expected any of this. So I hope when you hear this podcast, it's prior to the eclipse. Because it's very important that you know this information. But this was interesting too. Does the eclipse affect animal behavior? Well, believe it or not, it could, and it does for some. Say some birds might fly into the trees, and chickens might settle into their coops to roost for the night. Bees could return to their hives, and animals such as horses and cows may go back to their barnyards, moving toward their stables, thinking, what the heck is going on? Now, in the Bible, we even see biblical prophecies about the sun going dark. Revelation 6:12-9. Now, don't start freaking out saying, oh my God, it's the end of the world. No, I'm just telling you what it says. It says, I looked when he opened the sixth seal, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black. I don't know. I did tell my brother this. I started something with my brother too. That if you're not right with the Lord before the eclipse, maybe you should reconsider. Because in my opinion, we're all gathering, and I'm not saying God's coming that day, but you never know. Jesus may be here that day. But I always, if I go to the store, I'll say, see you later. And unless Jesus comes, I guess I won't. But so I'm just telling you, not to freak out. It will be an amazing thing, but I think it's a God thing. It is, and I'm not saying it's going to be doomsday, but what if? Something to think about, right? And I'm not trying again to freak anyone out, just thoughts in my heads. And I know usually that can be pretty dangerous because of the way I think. But I thought that it's amazing that it's mentioned in the Bible about, and it's more than just in Revelation. So don't quote me or anything. I can't quote the Bible. But an eclipse, it could be a warning. So be right with the Lord on that day. Don't think of anything stupid. to test what's going on. It's going to be an amazing event. And may the grace of God be with you that day and you enjoy the miracles that he performs each and every day. So if I have freaked anyone out, I apologize. But I think it's really, it's going to be a cool thing. It's going to be so amazing. I mean, to think that it's going to look like nighttime. I'm just so excited. And luckily, we will have company here. Our family from Australia hopefully will be here to see this great event. And I think they're pretty excited. It's my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law. And so we are so excited to have them too for this big event. But anyway, I think we should pray for everyone that day, especially all the first responders, the hospital people, everyone, because people do act goofy when something big like that happens. I don't know. They just lose their senses. I have no idea why, but they do. So I hope out of this podcast, you can start considering to let things go and think of yourself, because you are very important. Be one with God. You will find peace. I promise you, you will find peace. You will worry so much less if you have God in your life. And you need to remember these things are out of your control. They are out of your control. When someone does something to you, you had nothing to do with it. Well, unless you did cause it or something. But as for Fiona, she's probably still waiting for Adam the beehole to come around. And that was years ago when this happened. I think Frank has moved on. So yay for Frank. Yay for Frank seeing those red flags. But again, if you would like to share one of your stories on Ticket to Life, you can type it up. You can send it to tickettolife022@gmail.com. Again, tickettolife022@gmail.com. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on X, aka Twitter. And pretty much that's all I got for you, folks. And hopefully I'm not too nasally or sniffling in this podcast. I want to thank you. I can't wait to see you next week, and continue to look around each and every day and find your blessings. If there's anything you do today or tonight, whenever you're listening to this podcast, say a prayer for yourself. Ask God to help you let things go. I tell you, he's a great listener, and he's always there. I tell you, he's my go-to guy. Always. So until next week, this is Henrie. Please take care. And again, please go find your blessings. Thank you for listening.